like, it doesn't make sense to us that grew up with, like, for example, my parents have always said, work hard. And so I think, coming from the background that I have, it's been embedded in me that if you work hard, it does equal those things. It does equal you being recognized. It does equal you getting a raise, and it does equal you getting a promotion. But the reality is,
we've all heard it. Just keep your head down and work hard. It'll pay off. But according to a Stanford career expert, that advice might actually be holding people back.
In this episode, we break down a CNBC Make It article that challenges one of the biggest career myths out there. The idea that hard work alone guarantees recognition, promotions, or success. Spoiler alert, it doesn't.
We talk about why being good at your job isn't always enough, how visibility and self-advocacy play a huge role in career growth, and why so many people, especially women and marginalized workers, are taught to stay quiet instead of speaking up. Hey, Debbie.
Liza.
Yes.
Are you a hard worker or are you a smart worker?
I work hard enough.
Do you consider yourself a smart worker?
I think so. I think I have to be with my profession because I am the principal's secretary. So I think in a lot of cases, because I'm juggling so many things at once, I have to be smart for sure.
In order to get shit done.
Yes, in order to get shit done. But there are times where I feel like I don't work hard enough. It just really, really depends. How about you?
I think I'm more of a hard worker than a smart worker, to be honest.
So so what is your definition of being a hard worker though?
I probably get absorbed a lot with the things that I do because my personality is I like to get things perfect or what I think is perfect. And that just takes a lot of energy, right? And so I actually have to bring myself to boss that I used to have that, she was, very accomplished and she was up there. And I remember her saying like, what I want you to know that sometimes a C+ is good. You don't always have to be an A.
It's good enough.
Yeah. Like, because you always, like, depending on kind of what your work ethic is, like most, if you're an A+ person, you want everything to be A+. But in order to do that, it takes a lot of energy and hard work and dedication to be A+ in everything.
Right.
And she put it in a really good perspective because it's like, I just want you to know it doesn't have to be an A+. Because you feel like that reflects on you and your level of effort.
Yeah.
But what she's saying is it's okay to be a C, B, whatever it is.
Get the same level of recognition if you were to get an A than a C+.
I think it depends.
Right.
Right? Like if I knocked it out on an email, but I didn't do so well in an actual leading a project, then obviously that is different. But I think if I did a great job on an email and a great job on a project, I think the project probably carries more weight than this wonderful email that I did or whatever, right? So I guess, but writing an email can take a while too. Like you can write an email in 5 seconds or you can take 30 minutes to write an email. And it's the same type
So
of
are you the 5-second email person?
No, I can be the 15-minute, 30-minute person on an email because I want to make sure that it comes out right.
But that's also being smart working.
But the reality is, but what is the email really trying to say? Mm-hmm. And you're like, sometimes I'm being too accommodating to maybe the speaker who at the end of the day didn't even actually really care.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess my point is, you have to find places where absolutely you work your ass off. And then there's other places where maybe not so much, but you still get shit done.
Right.
Right. But I think the other thing too, when you do this, is a lot of people are in that bucket where if I do really good, hard work and you can see it.
Keep my head down.
Yes. And somebody will recognize it.
Yeah.
And maybe they do. But does that really get you to like the next level that you're trying to get to or striving for?
Well, I mean, according to this article here by CNBC, Make It, the Stanford career expert by the name of Jeffrey Pfeiffer. So the name of the article is Hard Work Will Speak for Itself is a Lie. is, I guess, what our topic is. So to introduce Jeffrey Pfeiffer, he is a Stanford organizational behavior professor and an author and a leadership expert. So he has authored and co-authored 16 books on power, leadership, and management. So I can tell you this, years and years pass. I think when I've been working at my employer at the school for 8 years. When I started, and before then, I've always just been a yes person. Like I don't lead.
Okay.
Follower.
Okay.
Right? Tell me what to do, I'll do it. Keep my head down as long as I get it done, as long as I still have my job, it's fine.
Yep.
But, recently I've just took it upon myself to, when we have meetings, or I usually just take notes. I don't say anything at all because I'm like, I'm a secretary. I'm sitting around with a principal.
Yeah, sure.
Administration. Like, what am I going to say that's going to even make a difference? But I start, I've have a working relationship with a lot of these people now, and I speak up at these meetings because I'm thinking there's a reason why I'm invited to these meetings. I'm not just here to take notes. Maybe I'm here to speak my truth or give my opinion or have some ideas. And I could tell you now, it's been like a couple of years since I've actually been sitting at these meetings where I will say something that I don't like. I will call somebody out. And I'm being more recognized for that.
Okay.
And to my surprise, people actually value my opinions on things. And I used to think, well, I'm just a clerical worker.
Okay.
I don't think they care about what I have to say, but they really do. And I think that if I remained just a hard worker, just put my head down, come into work, just do my job because I get paid, I don't think that I would ever have that type of recognition in the office.
Sure. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, I see it in my realm of work as well. Hard work is great and people appreciate it, but it doesn't necessarily equate to a guaranteed recognition. It doesn't necessarily guarantee you a raise, and it doesn't necessarily guarantee you a promotion.
Right.
And so I think that is a hard, it doesn't make sense to us that grew up with, for example, my parents have always said, work hard. And so I think, coming from the background that I have, it's been embedded in me that if you work hard, it does equal those things. It does equal you being recognized. It does equal you getting a raise, and it does equal you getting a promotion. But the reality is that's not necessarily the case all the time.
Right.
And if anything, to your point, is you have to be very visible in this reality in the workplace, because it's a myth of being, I'm a good worker, I'm a hard worker. They will see because they see it, and therefore my rewards will just come.
Right.
And so I think that's going to have to be a shift. And I see that it has to be a shift, right, because you have to advocate for yourself.
Yes.
For sure. But also you have to put an effort to have two roles that you work with. One is a mentor and one is a sponsor. So a mentor to me is obviously somebody that can provide you guidance, and, as things come up, you look to them because they've obviously have experience and knowledge that you admire and appreciate. And so they can mentor you in those challenges, right? But then you need a sponsor. Do you know what a sponsor is?
No.
So a sponsor is a person that when you're not in the room, they are advocating for you. So when questions come up like, hey, here's this project and we need to figure out who's that person,
right,
that needs to lead it. Your sponsor is like, that's Liza.
Yeah.
I know Liza. I've seen the work that she does. She is so fit to do that. And so a sponsor is a person that advocates for you when you're not in the room.
Right.
So if you have those two things, you're really then building your perception at work, your portfolio at work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it's another layer. So it's not that hard work doesn't get, hard work is important, but it's not the only thing. You have to have all these other layers in order for you to get to the place where you want to go, if you want to get recognized, if you want to get a raise, and if you want to get a promotion. So this is, to me, it's definitely a myth, because you have to be visible, because hard work
You have to stand out.
Yeah.
You have to stand out. So the way that I see it is, okay, you can work hard, right? But to your superior, it's just someone that's getting their shit done. They don't really know how hard you're working. You're not out there saying like, you know what? I do this, this, and this because you think that you get all the work done and you're working hard, but they just see that work's getting done. That's it.
Yes.
Right? Like there's that saying, closed mouths don't get fed. You know, just you can, and then when it comes to you not getting a raise, you're like, I work so hard. I get all my work done, you know, and it's like, okay, but does your boss know that? Have you been vocal about that?
Mhm.
Have you, you know, like, have you put your ideas out on the table? So I agree with this 100%. Do you?
Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you know, you can't just be your hard work and the results of your hard work. You also have to be able to communicate the goals that you have set, how you achieve those goals, and the capabilities that you have to demonstrate and also market, right? Like I have a team and it is me as the leader of this team. I always figure out ways to market my team, right? I don't just say my team did a great job and, you know, you can see because of this. I provide some of that marketing that you have to, because to your point, people up above they only see the result. They don't know how you got there.
Exactly.
And so it's super important. I think that, you know, a lot of us struggle to be visible, right? Because some people go, oh, God, but I don't, you know, that's so uncomfortable for me. I'm so uncomfortable because I feel like I'm showing off.
You got to step out of your comfort zone.
Right? But a lot of people do that, right? They're like, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to come out like I'm like tooting my own horn and like I'm saying too much and they think that I'm just bragging. No. I mean, there's a balance for sure. And it always irks me when people brag and you know that they didn't actually do that.
Do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing. But you have to be visible. You have to really, like, when I think of like a successful employee and, you know, this hits all the marks, right? So they basically say you have to raise your hand for new projects. You can't just expect something to fall on your lap, right? And the other thing too that I think is interesting is we don't do enough is asking for feedback.
Yes.
Right? Like,
some people are scared of the feedback, right?
Yeah, but you know, that's the thing is I think feedback is good because you get to reset what your like expectation or perception was, and then you can reset it. Because I think in general, like I've never encountered somebody that I've worked with or my boss or my boss's boss that didn't want me to succeed. So if I ask for feedback and they give me feedback, I take that to heart because people want you to succeed. Right. And so even if feedback is hard to hear because you're like, oh, God, you have to realize that feedback is based on the perception that they are seeing. So if they're seeing that, even if it's not true, then you have to really like look in and say, you know what, I know it's not true, but obviously this situation doesn't convey that. So how do I adjust so they can see that, you know, we are doing this or we are like this?
Yeah, exactly. Like I get a yearly review from my principal because I work for my principal. And I would always just sit through it and just be like, okay, like, you know, I had a good review. And then I just recently, like maybe years ago, started like asking like, yeah, it's great that you think I'm great. But like, can you tell me like one thing that I can work on? Because I know I'm not 100%. I'm not a perfect worker. And sometimes the principal, like I've worked with three different principals, sometimes they're really taken back by that question. Like, oh,
yes,
you know, but most of the time they appreciate it.
Yes.
You know, because they're like, okay, like she wants to go the extra mile for her.
Sure.
She really wants to hear what I really have to say. So speak up. Yeah. You're the one that's getting paid. And then what really like irks me sometimes is when people like think they deserve a raise, but they never ask for it.
Yes.
And it's like, what is the worst that's going to happen?
No.
But then if you don't say anything, you're still not going to get that raise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And so I think that's the other thing too. Again, it's all about like this. It's the perception that we have that like our hard work speaks for itself. And unfortunately, that's just not the reality that we live in. It definitely is the foundation, but we have to be really strategic in how we really showcase that, right? Like it's not just the hard work. The hard work is the foundation and everything else is the layers that you need.
Yeah.
So you have to make it visible. And that is a tough one because I think just, this gets challenging from a personality standpoint. And even from like how, not just a personality, but just like how we grew up. It's not embedded in us to do that.
Right.
And I think it's even worse for us as women.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you have a male superior or just,
Well, I think women in general, like, I mean, you're a mom, I'm a mom. We never come out and brag that like we do this, we do that, we do that. Like we just accept the fact that hey, that's just the fact that we're a mom and we just have to do that, which is true, right? But we got to do some of the reminders to our, significant other or our kids that, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I do this, but you do realize that it's just not like my daughter is like, oh, you forgot this. I go, Vanessa, do you realize I have a million things in my head?
Yeah.
Like I have a billion, and you're calling me out for this like one thing that I forgot? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I have a question. So you lead a team, right?
Yes.
Are there specific people in your team that like make themselves visible that you notice? And would you like, are there people on your team that you could tell they want to speak up and say something, but they don't?
I think that I think my overall team works hard. I think we can all be more visible and just finding the right ways to be visible. So strategically finding those opportunities is always there for everybody, myself included, right? Because I think part of it is we get so overwhelmed or consumed, right? Maybe not overwhelmed, but we get so consumed about what's on our plate that we just focus on that. But the reality is that there's a bigger picture, right? And so you have to bring yourself up because, which I struggle with, and I'm sure people struggle with all the time because you have a lot, everybody has a lot on their plate, right? But you have to like really realize, especially as I move forward in my career, I can't be everywhere all the time. And so I have to let things go. And what that means is sometimes you let things go that you really love to do.
Right.
Right. Because I can tell you, people fall into the trap, right? Of like, oh, I love doing this, so I'm going to keep doing this. But like, here's something that I don't want to do. So I'm just going to kind of like ignore it or give it to somebody else. Or just kind of like, but the reality is that if you want to move up, you have to really think about, okay, what are the things that are going to make me move up? And what are the things that will no longer serve me? And so, there's things that I know that is not going to serve me. And so I have to let those go, even though I love doing it.
Right.
And so I think it's really important to kind of, the other thing is I've realized, people say, don't be afraid to say no. Yeah. Which is true because you don't want to burn yourself out. But saying yes is very noticeable. Yes. And even on yeses where like, for example, there's things that come to my attention and I don't want to say yes because it's not something that I actually want to do.
Yeah. Or you have
right. I don't want to do
space in your plate.
But you're like, yes. Yeah. But then the thing is that I would love to take that on. Here's my thoughts on what I currently have on my plate. And this is the support I need in order for me to take that on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not a no.
Right.
Right. It was a yes. But here's what I have. And here's what I'm thinking about. Can we reallocate that? Because you know what? We only have 24 hours in a day. So I can't keep just taking stuff on.
Right. Right.
So again, that's what I'm talking about in regards to like being strategic, at least for me, is the first answer for you shouldn't be like, no, I can't do that. It should be like, hey, here's the thing. Even if I don't like it, am I going to learn from it?
Right.
Is it important enough for my boss? Is it important enough for my boss's boss? Is it important enough for my group? If there's a yes somewhere in there, then I should be like, yeah, I'll take that on.
Right. If you have the mental capacity and, at that point, which you probably don't, but it's going to get you recognized.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you don't have the mental capacity to take it on and you say no, that's totally fine too.
Yeah.
but also accept the fact that the no might have hindered you from maybe
taking on a bigger role.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to protect yourself, right? Like you have to protect yourself, but also accept the fact that, oh, well, I said no, but I still should be promoted because I still work really hard. Like, I don't know about that, right? Because like I said, the no is fine, but you have to also accept the consequences of the no.
To piggyback on that, don't ever be afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
Always ask for help. Don't think that you can do it and then just fuck it up even more. And like, I feel like employees value asking for help for sure.
So I will tell you, one of my things is if you get something, you have to have a sense of how long it should take in order to complete it. So if your boss gives you something and you basically say, or you guys come to the conclusion like, hey, this should only take you like maybe a couple hours to complete, and say you dive right in and it actually takes, you're starting to realize like, hey, it's actually taking longer than that. Well, my suggestion is always, if you're taking longer, then you got to ask for help. Right? Because then you have to reset expectations. Maybe you didn't understand like a certain objective. Like, it's okay. It is totally okay to ask for help. And that way you can reset. What's a bummer is I encounter situations where somebody spent longer than what they should on something. And only until I ask, like, hey, how's it going, do I realize that they haven't even moved past the first stage, because they're spinning their wheels because they really want to like do it on their own, right? But then I think that's also a sign of like, hey, you also have to like balance that judgment out, because nobody wants you to be spinning your wheels.
Yes, nobody.
So at work, so now that you've kind of gone to this space where you're being more visible, do you feel like it's becoming more and more natural for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think sometimes people are scared to ask me things because I'll just tell it like it is now, because and there are times where I've even pushed back on my boss. Like my boss would say like, hey, like, do you think that you can handle doing this? And I'd be like, no, not right now. And I would never, like old me would never dare say that because she's my boss, things. Also, another thing that I've encountered a lot, just, working in an office setting, is that I have a lot of people like complain to me about how specific things aren't getting done or how they're not happy with like just how things are being handled, but they don't want to tell anyone else about it, and it's like, well, you're going to keep working in this environment. Yes. And things are going to keep happening because they don't know that it's happening. So you have to say something. You have to have a voice, It's just like, I don't know.
So here's a question, right? You're in that situation. Somebody's complaining.
Yeah.
Or calling something out.
Yeah.
And it's their thing. Mm-hmm. It has actually nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
But you can tell that they're too afraid or they resist or whatever it is to say something. Do you step in?
So this happens all the time. What I usually do is I ask them, I say, hey, is it okay for me to bring this up? Can I advocate for you? Because I'm not the official office manager, but it's unofficial. Like everyone comes to me because I'm the school secretary. And if they agree, then I will step up. If they prefer not to, then I respect their boundaries and say, hey, but I will let them know that it's not okay and to think about it, and something should be said and should be done. How about you?
I think I encourage them to find their voice. I mean, I don't know necessarily if I would step up and like advocate for them, because I think the other thing too is like you have to build your own reputation, right? Yeah. Like if somebody else is advocating for you, and it depends on what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
It absolutely depends on what it is. Yeah. If it's something that, where I feel like, hey, it's not a big deal, maybe it would come better coming from somebody outside of that situation, or maybe just putting it out there, not necessarily it goes this way or that way, but at least it gives the visibility that it needs in order for people to kind of pause and think about it, then yeah, I will. But ultimately, my approach would be you have to find your voice, right? And you have to build and you can do it. It doesn't require like being verbose. It doesn't require there's a way to do it where yes, it's uncomfortable. It may be uncomfortable, but you have to practice that, right? Because I can't keep doing those things for you. And so one of the things I took a class, and it was about this expert negotiator. And this expert negotiator said, the way you get to being a good negotiator is you just practice. You just practice.
It's simple but true.
You just keep practicing it. And it was because nobody really likes or is comfortable negotiating. Right. And so she basically said it's not natural for a lot of people, but the way you get better is you practice.
Right.
And so I think that is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, hard work is necessary. I think both you and I agree. But it's only half of that equation. And so you need your presence, your voice, and strategically thinking about how you communicate to actually get the reward that you're looking for.
For sure. Yeah. Hard work will speak for itself if you speak for yourself, right? So, no, I agree. It's just all about stepping out of your comfort zone and how much you want it and how much you want to move up in your job and how much you want to strive. And, basically like I said, you can't sit and be quiet and then do your work and expect for things to just come naturally and get the recognition that you think that you deserve. You gotta say something. All right, Debbie.